Hi guys, this is Klazart being another audio commentary, and I'm dueling this one with the irrepressible Cholera, and we're going to be doing the OSL matchup. I believe this is Group B between Sparky's Leta and STX Seoul By.Hero. Leta, obviously the Terran upstart who's been tearing it up in the Pro League recently, starting up at the 6 o'clock position. This is Tears of the Moon. An interesting map. Statistics, Terran versus Zerg, slightly favored Terran, but Zergs have been dominating Protoss on this, so it can't be that bad for Zerg. The 6 o'clock position is considered to be dangerous for a non-Terran, for any player if you're up against Terran, but it looks like Leta's on the 6 o'clock position, and I'll have Caller explain that a little bit better later on. By.Hero's at the 9 o'clock position playing Zerg in purple. This should be an interesting game. Leta's got a terrific record in pro gaming, but there's something I want to ask you here, Cholera. I copped a little bit of flack for calling Leta a decent player in his game against Savior and for supposedly not giving enough credit. I want to know where you stand on this whole issue of players being considered top players without having won a single Star League. Because for me, unless you've been there, defeated the top players in a best of 3, a best of 5, you haven't done it. Until Leta beats Savior in a best of 3 and Jaedong or July playing at their peak in best of 3, I'm not going to consider him to be up there. He's a good Terran player, yes. He's got a lot of potential, yes. He's talented, yes. But I don't think he's good enough yet, or hasn't proven himself to be good enough yet to really be considered top. Where do you stand on this?
Yeah, I would agree with you actually on this. I think Leta, I wouldn't say he's overrated, but perhaps I would just say he is untested yet. Maybe he will turn out to be the next Flash or the next Boxer even. But we don't know yet until he's gone through the Crucible, like you said, gone through at least the semifinals, best of 5 even, I would say, before I would vote him personally to be the best player in the world. However, it seems that the public, or at least the different major StarCraft sites, are against our position here, because I think both Team Liquid and SC2GG have recently put Leta as #1 in their top 10 lists based on his performance in the last month. And I gotta say, his performance is very exemplary recently. He did lose to Savior. We both casted that game. In fact, I didn't know that Klazart was going to be doing it, but I should have assumed it given that Savior was playing. But he did lose to Savior, and that was the end of a 9-game winning streak against Zerg. I think I mentioned that in my cast. 9-game winning streak, and twice beating Luxury. And he's just been ridiculous recently. But like you said, he's not proven himself yet until he's gotten to the finals. And there is the gas there. By the way, I'm actually not sure, Klazart, but I'm pretty sure a Terran tank can actually siege the gas at the 6 o'clock location. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that they can from outside the wall, which, if they could, would be very, very bad for whoever is playing a Terran, unless they are Terran themselves. So anyway, we're seeing here I believe that was an overpull into expansion for Luxury. So, sorry, not for Luxury, for By.Hero. By.Hero is going to be going for a relatively fast tech build here, given his opening. He might be going for speedlings first. We'll see if he goes for a lair with his first 100 gas, or if he puts down speed.
Yeah, Leta unfortunately almost hamstringing himself there, and he was actually done in by the overpull because his SCV, while scouting, he scouted in the correct direction, but and Lair starting up now for By.Hero. He scouted in the correct direction, but unfortunately he saw the Overlord, and he thought, well, right, this Overlord can't be coming from the 10 o'clock. It can't be coming from the 10 o'clock base because it's too close to the base, so it must be coming from the other base. So he immediately turned his SCV around without going up the ramp or further in at all, and went straight for the 1 o'clock base. And when he got there, for the 2 o'clock base, and when he got there, he found out that there was nothing there. So he hasn't been able to get the scout, and he has been clever and hidden his SCV up away top behind By.Hero's natural. So he's going to try and have another go at that ramp and hope that it's exposed and he's going to be able to sneak in. But I have a feeling there's going to be a couple of Zerglings waiting there, and the Zerglings aren't going to be waiting there, and the SCV is going to go down, and so it's going to be denied to him the exact strategy of his opponent. But he's fairly decently positioned anyway because he's put his academy up. But unfortunate for Leta there, being undone by the overpull and being too good for his own good on that occasion.
Yeah, but look at his build. He's going to go for a 1-base fast academy here. 1 racks into academy. This is like, we've heard Leta being compared to Boxer a lot, and this is a 1-base build here. He's going to go 1-base into tanks most likely, and he's going to start sieging. Probably going to go for a slow push against By.Hero, and we saw Hwasun do this very well against Firefist. Of course, Firefist is most likely a much weaker player than By.Hero. I don't think By.Hero is a great player necessarily. I've seen a couple of games of his. I don't think he's up to Leta's abilities. However, Leta has gone for a fairly risky one base build here instead of going for a standard Rax into Command Center as we've been seeing. Although on this map, this being Tears of the Moon, it might not be the best idea to go Rax into Command Center. Anyway, we're going to see most likely these Zerglings are going to find out that there's some kind of build going on, and we are seeing 2 Sunken Colonies go up, so he does suspect some kind of strangeness coming up. And actually, Leta is not going to go for a slow push like I thought he was. He's going to go for a fast dropship, probably, is my guess, or maybe one base science vessels. But anyway, it is a one base tech build of some sort, and he really has a lot of options here. You know, a fast drop is not necessarily a bad idea. Maybe fast Valkyries even, or just a fast science vessel. We'll have to see, and it's against 2-hatch Mutas, so 2-hatch Mutas obviously isn't the best economy either for the Zerg. Klazart, are you there? I think we may have lost Klazart, unfortunately.
Yeah,
right
the Zerg
now,
isn't really going to be maximizing his economic advantage. Yeah, I'm here. Hi. The Zerg isn't going to be maximum. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. You're in sync. Go ahead.
All right. Oh yeah, it does look like the Zerg hasn't really maximized the economy build, but on the other hand, the fact that he's gone 2-hatch Mutas is also going to give him a little bit more aggressive option early on, and that's going to help him to actually figure out what his opponent is up to, and possibly even try and slow him down a little bit. So yes, in the long term, the economic advantage would probably translate hugely for him, but I think he's actually going to be okay. I think By.Hero is in actually decent position despite Leta's build, because Leta's going to take a while to really get aggressive here, and you know, personally, I'm not a huge fan of the strategy of this picture. He's relying very heavily on those turrets for defense, and By.Hero coming in and sneaking in a couple. He's seen that academy at the very least, and he's picked off a couple of SCVs as well. So not doing a huge amount of damage, but the key is whether he's going to be able to get around the other side and spot the starport. And I don't think By.Hero's done that. And that's going to be critical to him surviving. He's now putting the 3rd hatchery down. So yes, he doesn't have a huge economic advantage, but against a 1-base Terran, that actually works almost in his favor. If the Terran gone 2-base and held his defense, then obviously that wouldn't have been so good for By.Hero. But because Leta has gone for the Leta is now putting the control tower up, so it's going to be interesting. I mean, especially with the Mutalisk floating around, I think he's gonna find it difficult to actually deliver an effective attack here. The Firebat just gets taken down, and his ramp is actually exposed. If By.Hero had a couple of Zerglings to ramp that ramp here, he might be able to use them to tag, and he's going to take. And that's again, he's playing a very defensive formation here, Leta. So he's lost a turret as well, and by now I'm sure By.Hero is aware of what his opponent is up to, and he should be in a decent position. And I feel that Leta, yes, he's left himself. He's obviously got the science system down as well. I know he's left himself a lot of options open, but unfortunately, it looks like he's taking too long to really get going. But maybe it will translate into a late game victory for him, and probably that's what he's hoping for.
Yeah, I think he definitely can't wait until he can get Irradiate out, and that will be very, very disastrous against the Zerg player if he can't switch tech at that point, or try to kill a Terran off before. And you know, he might actually be able to do that. There's not that many Medic Marine left, and now we're seeing an Evo Chamber and a Hydralisk Den. Interesting enough, an Evo Chamber. I guess he is going to try to play for a slightly longer game, and he's got a 3rd hatch up, so you know, it's going to be a little bit, it's going to be, actually a lot of it's going to be about what happens to that Science Vessel. Is that Science Vessel going to go down or not? Is the Zerg player, By.Hero, going to try to do some kind of Mutalisk Scourge bomb, as we've seen a lot of good Zergs do, and try to pick off that first vessel, because obviously he doesn't want to get irradiated. That whole clump of Mutalisks, which is basically his entire army, would just get annihilated with one good irradiate. So there's the first vessel out already for Leta. By.Hero probably is researching lurker tech right now. Science vessels will be able to help against lurkers, but not really do that much, though, especially because, you know, he's not going to have a tank anytime soon. He doesn't even have any bunkers up. So right now the momentum is in Leta's favor, but like you were saying, his economy is not that great. And if the Zerg player can eventually pick up a 3rd and stop Leta from taking any of his bases out, the Zerg player would be way ahead. And there is the Irradiate, though. Oh, wow. By.Hero loses his Scourge there, and took a little while for him to pull.
That was a genius move by Leta, because he actually hit off a scan over the flying away Mutalisk to help the Irradiate out, just to exactly know where to irradiate. You saw the scan go off, and so he was able to catch the Scourges with the Mutalisk, and that's what really hurt By.Hero big time. But By.Hero is still in a decent position, because he's going to be able to slow his opponent's advance down just using lurkers alone, because Medic and Marines and By.Hero's got a decent number of lurkers. The key question for By.Hero is whether he's going to be able to get that 3rd gas going to really be able to go into Hive Tech, and it looks like this is going to be a late game for both of these players. And the key here is, yes, Leta's in a good position, but he needs to deal some sort of damage here to slow his opponent down, because the Evo Chamber has gone up, and he does well. Now now he's going the economy, so he's got the early tech, but he hasn't made a push. I guess he was waiting for a siege tank, so now he's going to make that push with the one lone siege tank, and it's just a case of By.Hero doing what Savior does so well, which is delaying his opponent. It looks like By.Hero's going to go around the back here. He's going to try and sneak around towards the Expo from behind, and we know this is one of the features of this map where you can attack the natural from the rear, and it does make it very difficult to defend. But By.Hero's left himself completely open, and his army has been scouted, so he might be in a little bit of trouble here, because Leta's heading down for By.Hero's front door, and By.Hero doesn't have much defense there. So Leta's actually going to pull back, so both players are going to cancel each other out there.
Yeah. Oh, interesting enough, both players, playing a game of chicken there, and it looks like neither of them have won that game. Both players withdraw to their respective defenses. There's the lurkers going back. So about 10 lurkers up for the Zerg player, and oh, he might lose one of them. No. Leta very, very careful there, and very astute, trying to pick off one or two of those lurkers. Now getting some of them irradiated. I'm not sure where the Zerg player is right now against, in terms of getting to Hive Tech, because he does want to get to that Hive Tech pretty soon. With the tanks, it's going to be a very powerful army here, but look at the huge force of the Zerg player. He might just go for a surround or just a straight-out frontal attack. The problem is, though, with a couple of tanks out and with the upgraded Marines, they're already +1 attack. They might be +1 armor very soon. It's going to be hard for the frontal attack to actually succeed. We've seen so many Zergs go in with what should be a winning force and then lose. It's just trying to do this crush build, and we're seeing it right now. He is going to try to go in and take out the medic Marines. Looks like they take out one science vessel there, but a lot of these lurkers have gone down. Not a very good sandwich there from the Zerg player By.Hero. I mean, it did do some damage, but I don't think it did enough there. I think it lost a number of lurkers, all of his mutas, and all of his lings. And now 2 more lurkers getting, I thought they were going for a flank, but it looks like they're just running with the like chickens with their heads cut off. Oh, man. And this is where you can see the difference between, a By.Hero and a Jaedong or a Luxury or a July, His control is just slipping a little bit, losing lurkers, and I'm not sure if that was the best idea, going for a frontal assault. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think that was GG right here. By.Hero seems to have committed himself to trying and winning this at tier 2, and really the longer this game goes on, the stronger Leta's position becomes. And, I mean, if this is the kind of opposition he's been facing in the Pro League, it's no wonder he's 9-0 versus Zerg, honestly. That was, I mean, not only was the strategy I'm sorry, I mean, I know I should have a little bit more respect for these guys are pro gamers. This is the OSL. He's managed to get in here somehow, and he's actually managed to harass the gas quite well as well. I know that he probably deserves his place in the competition, probably, and it looks like Leta's going in for a drop here now at By.Hero's main, and this is going to hurt By.Hero big time. He's trying to bring the Scourges in play, but Leta's actually going to get that drop off, and By.Hero is going to take some damage here at the very least to his economy. The medics haven't come out though, unfortunately. The single Scourge I thought almost made it to the dropship, but didn't in time. And now he's actually not going to inflict significant damage. Those drones really need to be pulled out, because if he loses even a single drone, that's a waste. And now the dropship is going to get taken out. So not really a great move. Not a single medic to accompany those Marines. I didn't see him drop a medic there, and I think that a medic could have made a huge difference in the attack, because By.Hero was just coming slowly with Zerglings, and he could have really done a lot of damage here. Now finally taking out the lurker behind his natural expo. But yeah, By.Hero, it has to be said, not only was his strategy ill-conceived, but his execution of it was poor. He's only now putting down the hatchery. He had a decent-sized force in the middle. I think he had a great opportunity to do this, but he's going for another attack, now trying to catch Leta in the middle. He's going to catch a few of those Marines and push Leta back, but it's not going to work again, and he's going to lose a lot of his lurkers in the process. I don't know where he's... Again, I think the only thing keeping By.Hero in the game right now is the fact that Leta was very slow in getting that second command center up and running, and actually Leta's managed to take out most of those medic and Marines off Leta's.
Yeah, but I mean, lurkers are so much more costly, and then just a couple of medic marine there. I know that was a good number, but still. By the way, though, By.Hero, I forgot actually, and he actually was the one who beat Bisu originally out of the OSL in the round of 36. So, we should give him some credit. He did 2-0 Bisu. But on the other hand, Bisu's head might have been still reeling from the defeat that Savior gave to him a week before. So maybe that explains Bisu's temporary suckness and letting By.Hero beat him, because obviously Bisu eventually got out of the round of 36 after, well, I think the world just hates Backhoe. I mean, I'm not just talking about like people don't like him. I mean, actually, the world literally hates him. Like, fate hates Backhoe. having to getting into late stages of tournaments and then having to leave because of injuries is just not cool, not fun, and just unfortunate for him, to be honest. But anyway, that's neither here or there. Finally, the Hive Tech coming out, and I really thought that he should have gone for Hive Tech earlier, gotten Defilers out, and then did what he was trying to do now, because it would have been a lot more effective with just 1 or 2 Dark Swarm. He could have actually sealed this game, but instead he stayed a little bit too long against a Terran who already has all of his tech up. It just doesn't make sense staying at layer tech for that long.
Yeah, it looks like Leta's finally ready to make that push, and this is the key of whether or not By.Hero is actually going to be holding. By.Hero is just going to try a little flanking move here, and this is quite clever, sending the Zerglings around, because what he's doing here, all he's trying to do really is buy himself time and slow Leta down as much as he can. So this is brilliant actually by By.Hero. Now he might lose all these Zerglings in the process, but he's going to actually be able to take that extraction down before Leta can get around, and this is a clever move, making a maximum move of this map, and this is really Sun Tzu's Art of War here, almost as we see Savior executed. By.Hero getting in with the speed upgraded Zerglings, taking out the extractor and pulling out and dealing Leta a crippling blow. I'm getting more and more impressed by this kid by the second. Great play of StarCraft. Great StarCraft play there by him. The key here is that Leta still doesn't seem to have either discovered or made a move at all towards the expansion at the 1 o'clock position or the 2 o'clock position of By.Hero's. Leta does know it's there. Looking at his first-person view mode, Leta knows it's there, but he hasn't made a move for it. But the key thing that By.Hero is doing here so well is he's keeping Leta back by those diversionary tactics, and he's not allowed Leta to really make a big push thus far, and that's what Leta really needs to do, is to make that big push, because he's running out of time here, because his opponent has got a decent economy up and running now with that third hatchery, and the Hive is coming into play, and it's only a matter of time. Looks like there is going to be a dropship going over for that 2 o'clock base as well, though.
Yeah, I think that dropship might be the end of that base, because I don't see any forces there. I think he was just relying on being able to keep him back and basically not have that be attacked in any way. But the dropship is going to get through the middle, and the Zerg player right now is very vulnerable. He needs to keep that third gas up. I actually thought he should have done more of those attacks in the back of Leta's base, because Leta was completely unprepared for them. Now there's a dropship. There is a sunken colony, but there's some lings now coming down, so that is actually going to take care of it. Although he does lose a couple of drones carelessly. Should have pulled those drones off. He should be pulling those drones. Wow, that's about 6 drones down there for not many good reasons at all. Basically, no reason. So my point was, I think he should have gone for that back attack with the lings. I mean, you saw that one lurker doing some damage previously. If he had 3 lurkers and some lings there, he could have been a huge distraction. Might have taken down more SCVs right here, as you can see, and that perfect little gap. I think he should have abused that a little bit more than he even did this game. However, we will see how his Defiler play is. Modern TVZ Defiler play, or ZVT Defiler play, is very impressive in general. It's gotten a lot better in recent years, thanks mainly to Savior's efforts in revolutionizing it. And we'll see how this kid does with them. Maybe he'll be able to, come back. And looks like he's actually breaking these neutral refineries there. But at the same time, Leta has sent one of his forces over to the upper right, and I think the upper right's going to fall. Meanwhile, the big attack coming into Leta's natural.
Yeah, By.Hero realized that he can't really hold off the defense at his own third base, so the only option is counter, but unfortunately for him, Leta doesn't need much to really hold this attack off, and yes, he's going to probably take that expansion out. He's killed a couple of SCVs, but he's actually going to take one of Leta's gas. Oh, the Defiler arrives in the nick of time as well. He's got a 9-us up, but he doesn't have the resources to actually send anything to defend, and the Defiler is stuck in his main. The Defiler not able to get through, but he is actually doing some damage here, and he's actually going to be able to fight back a little bit, but unfortunately for By.Hero, he's run out of units to fight. He is against those tanks. I thought he had a lurker in there, but he's actually lost all of his units. The Firebat's coming in, so Leta anticipating that well, but looks like he's actually managed to save that somehow. He's actually managed to save his third expansion for now, but he needs to get some units there ASAP, and I have a feeling that some of his units seem to be stuck and not able to come out of the 9-us, and now the units are coming out of the 9-us, and unfortunately Leta doesn't have enough units to actually take this expansion down, because he's got a lurker out there, he's got a Defiler out there, he's going to be able to defend this indefinitely. Meanwhile, By.Hero's done quite a lot of damage to Leta. He's really limiting Leta, because By.Hero, remember, still has the 3 gas. The problem for Leta, and 3 suicide drones in the middle for no reason at all there by By.Hero. Leta's going to make one big push here. That's the key for him, but I'm not sure how successful he's going to be. He hasn't really built up a large fleet of science vessels. Neither has he got a massive ground force, and this is the second time he's lost that extractor, so he's been playing 1 gas all this game, and which is why he hasn't been able to really build up the force of science vessels. By.Hero doesn't have a large ground force, and once again that extractor coming in attack, so By.Hero focusing on the Achilles heel of the Terran, that second gas, using the map to maximum advantage, once again popping that. Now the four science vessels are key. If By.Hero can manage to whittle them down, he only managed to get an irradiate on one of the Defilers, but the extractor is down yet again for Leta, and Leta is really being made to hurt here with that rear attack on that extractor time and time again, focused by By.Hero.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why this map is so good as EVP. I mean, imagine with even a turn player being as you know having as good defensive structures as they do, they're still having so much problem with the back of this base. I mean, PVZ the Protoss with their unwieldy slow units and with just photon cannons can barely hold that back area. But that's neither here or there. Here is the large push though coming from Leta to the upper right. This might be it though. No matter what you say about Leta not having a second gas, if By.Hero doesn't have a third base, it'll be all for naught. And it looks like he's gonna have to get more units through this Nidus Canal. He is bringing more units. He needs a Defiler there, though. There's a Defiler. It might go down, though. And no, it goes down. The Defiler goes down. Careless play there by the Zerg player By.Hero, and that could be the game-deciding moment there when his Defiler walked into a bunch of Marines and decided to get killed. Now he has no ability to engage. His units are just going to get sieged away there, as you see there. 3 Lurkers going down without being able to throw a single spine. There goes the expansion. So By.Hero now down to his main and his natural. And I gotta say, if he can't do some critical damage right now, I don't even know what he could do. But if he could do some critical damage, that's the only way he would be able to come back at this point.
Looks like he is going to be able to pick off a siege tank of Leta's, but Leta's got another expansion up and running, and Leta's got the massive superiority of the ground force on the ground as well. And I have to say, the standard of StarCraft in this game, in my opinion, hasn't been very high. There's been some clever moves, but By.Hero, by and large, has really let himself down in the execution of his strategies. Leta, I don't think has been that stellar, and he's really been gifted. By.Hero has made so many mistakes that Leta has really been gifted the advantage, and Leta has been completely and utterly gifted that game. That Defiler move was just utterly ridiculous. Although it has to be, I mean, By.Hero did a relatively good job of keeping Leta off balance while he got at one stage we were wondering if he would even get up to Defiler tech, if Leta was going to be able to make the push. But yeah. By.Hero did a good job of denying Leta the ability to make that push. But really, that was just, I don't know what to compare it to, the kind of mistake that he made with the Defiler. One can only call it suicide. Poor play by I think By.Hero has lost this game more than Leta has won it. Poor play by By.Hero.
He kind of hooked himself there, as we call it nowadays. I don't know if you've been listening to our commentaries, but he pretty much hooked that Defiler, and that's what ended up happening to him. After, of course, a very good player called Hyuk on SKT1. But yeah, we're seeing Leta here going in for the finish, I think. Defilers are just going to get mowed down by Irradiates on the way. And, eventually Leta did manage to get those Science Vessels up. He got 4 of them up. They haven't been scourged in a while, so they have a lot of energy, and that's going to be enough for the Terran player. I mean, Science Vessels are very durable as long as you can micro them well, and the Zerg can't micro his Scourge well. They're almost, indestructible otherwise. And here we're seeing just more of these neutral power generators going down. Leta wiping his nose a little bit. I think he can be pretty confident he's going to win this game, noticing that the Zerg has almost no mining left. And Leta, meanwhile, has picked up a paltry 4 mineral patches, but that'll be enough to feed the SK Terran-style Terran army, because they really aren't that. They're pretty resource cheap. It's part of the reason why Terrans love going this build against Zerg. And anyway, we're going to see an attack here. Oh, wow, look at that. The back of Hero's base was sealed off with buildings, but now it's not going to help him at all against that large group of Medic Marine.
Yeah, unfortunately for Hero, he's completely out of this game, and Leta now able to radiate his own Science Vessels. But it has to be said, Leta's Science Vessel micro wasn't that impressive, to be honest. Hero's Scourge micro was horrible. Yes, not GG. Sorry guys, not a GG. Yeah, Hero's Scourge micro, Hero's micro over. I think Hero's potential. Hero reminds me a little bit, and I know people are going to hate me for saying this. He reminds me a little bit of Jaedong back when Jaedong was just starting out, and maybe in his first season or two before he really kind of grew in stature. Hero reminds me a little bit of that. He's got components to his game that are good, but he's lacking a couple of key things, like bringing those combo attacks together and getting the timing right, getting the Scourges in at the right time and taking out those Science Vessels. Those little things are the things that he's missing out on, but he's got the basics there. So Hero has the potential to get up there to Jaedong Savior level. I do believe that on that evidence, but real disappointment. I think he'll be kicking himself when he watches that replay, because that really, I think he was in a pretty decent position if he could have held that one attack off, and that one Defiler would probably have done it for him.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I mean, the thing is, Hero, I do think he has poor, not very strong, or just, yeah, poor game judgment. I mean, he shouldn't have thrown away that many lurkers in the mid game. He could have gone for harassments like he did, with that one lurker did so much damage. Imagine he actually brought some more lurkers there. There was absolutely no need, I believe, for him to go and try to frontally attack the Terran player when he was moving out. I think that was rather suicidal. He should have waited for Defilers to come out and, just played defensively and let his economic advantage come into play and, the more harassment, less frontal attacks. But, we see Leta once again winning by hook or crook, I guess it can be said, and his group is not the strongest group in the world. We'll be moving on right now, though, to Group C, the first game, which is going to be between Hwasun and Best. Thanks for watching, guys.